Hello everyone, welcome to biology class. In this class we are going to see 9th standard biology chapter 21 nutrition and health. In the first part of the video already we have seen about the different classes of nutrients and the sources of the nutrients, the deficiency disorders and its symptoms. In this part of the video we will be discussing about several headings and first go with food hygiene. So to understand that, first let's see what is food spoilage. So food spoilage is nothing but an undesirable change. We do not want this change. We do not desire this kind of change. So it is an undesirable change in the normal state of food. So if this change occurs, what happens to the food now? The food will be unsuitable for consumption. That is, we cannot eat that food. And what is the cause of this food spoilage? So it may be due to poor personal hygiene. So when there is no proper hygiene in making of the food or in the preparation of the food, it may lead to food spoilage. And how you can detect the food has spoiled? So there will be some changes in the appearance of the food with respect to the color. They may show some variation or to texture or odor. So it may smell bad, or when we taste that also it may indicate that spoilage. The factors responsible for food spoilage are the internal factors and external factors. So internal factors are nothing but the factors that are in the food that are responsible for spoilage, and external factors means outside agents which bring about contamination or spoilage. First, internal factors. It includes the various enzymatic activities and the moisture content of the food. And external factors includes the various adulterants. So adulterants are unwanted substances that are added to food for profit. So we will see it in detail in the upcoming slides. So adulterants, if added to food, it may also lead to spoilage. Or the contaminated utensils, that is, if the utensils are not washed or cleaned properly, and if it is contaminated, it may result in spoilage. And unhygienic cooking area. So if the cooking area is not properly present, that is, if it is unhygienic, it may also lead to food spoilage. And lack of storage facilities. So these are the various factors that are responsible for spoilage of food. Next, food preservation. So what we can do to prevent the spoilage? We have to preserve the food in a proper manner so that we can use the food. We can increase the shelf life, that is the consumable time period. You can increase that time period of consuming the food, and we can retain the color, the texture, the flavor and the nutritive value of the food, and we can increase the food supply and decrease the wastage of food. The methods of food preservation. So various methods are there. We will see one by one. First to go about is drying. So what is meant by drying? So the removal of water or the moisture content from the food is the process called drying. So when we remove the moisture content from the food may remain unspoiled. That is, we can preserve the food in a dried manner and the food will not spoil easily. And how it can be achieved? It can be achieved by means of sun drying. So like for example, the fishes and all, when it is exposed to sun, it will take up all the moisture and it can be preserved for several months. So sun drying, we also cereals. So we can sun dry the cereals and we can store it for months together. And vacuum drying. So milk powder, cheese powder and all, it is dried under vacuum. And hot air drying. So that is the dried grapes and the other dried fruits, the potato flakes and all, hot air drying so that it can be preserved for a long time. So what is the function of this drying process? So the drying process will inhibit the growth of microorganisms. Inhibit means it will stop. It will stop the growth of microorganisms such as bacteria, yeast and molds. So drying is the first method Okay, food preservation. The second method is smoking. So in this process, food products like meat and fish are exposed to smoke. So here you could see, and this drying action of the smoke will also tend to preserve the food. The third method of food preservation is irradiation. So what is irradiation? It is the process of exposing the food to some rays, the ionizing rays, such as X-rays, gamma rays or UV rays. So these rays will kill the harmful bacteria and pest and preserve its freshness. Next is cold storage. So it is nothing but it is a process of storing the perishable foods. What is meant by perishable means the food products that can be easily spoiled. That is the food products which have to be consumed in a short period of time is referred to as perishable food, such as vegetables, fruit products, milk products and all. We will be storing at low temperature, that is referred to as cold storage. When we preserve the food product at low temperature, it slows down the biological and the chemical reaction that are taking place and it will prevent it from spoilage. So we have seen the food preservation methods: drying, smoking, irradiation and cold storage. Next is freezing. So freezing is widely we are using this method for food preservation. This process involves storing the food below 0 degrees Celsius. So this is an error here. You have to write 0 degree. So you have to write as a superscript 0 degree. You should not write 00. 0 degree Celsius at which the microorganism cannot grow. So when we freeze the food, the microorganisms cannot grow and the chemical reactions will be reduced and the metabolic reactions are also delayed, and so the food can be preserved for a long while. The next method is pasteurization. So pasteurization is a heat treatment and we can use this method for liquid food products. For example, for the preservation of milk and beverages, we can use this pasteurization process. So this process involves boiling of milk at a temperature of 63 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes. So it should be boiled, and after this 30 minutes it has to be suddenly cooled to destroy the microbes present in the milk. So this process is called pasteurization. The process is named after the inventor of this process, Louis Pasteur. So he only discovered this process, so the process is given the name as pasteurization. Next is canning. In this method of food preservation, the vegetables, fruits, meat, dairy products, fruit juice and some ready to eat foods are processed and they are stored in clean, steamed, airtight container. So you can see they are stored in airtight container under pressure and then sealed, and this process is referred to as canning, and it is then subjected to high temperature and cooled to destroy all the microorganisms. So we have seen various methods of food preservation. Next is addition of preservatives. So for the preservation of food, okay, they will be adding certain preservatives. So the preservatives may be of natural kind of preservatives or synthesized, that is synthetic preservatives. First, let's discuss about the natural preservatives. So some naturally available material like salt, sugar, oil, they are used as food preservative. First, let's see how salt is going to act as a food preservative. So it is the oldest method of preserving food by the addition of salt. So when we add salt, the salt will remove the moisture content in the food by the process of osmosis. Okay, so this prevents the growth of bacteria and reduces the activity of microbial enzymes. So what are all the food that can be preserved by means of adding salt, like meat, fish, gooseberry, lemon, raw mangoes? They can be preserved by adding salt. And salt is used as a preservative in pickle. So you would have seen when they make pickles, they will be adding large amount of salt. So because the salt will act as a preservative. Also when we are doing pickle, they will add a large amount of oil also as a preservative. So salt is used as a preservative in pickles, canned food, etc. So addition of salt is a natural preservative. Next is addition of sugar. So sugar or honey is added as preservative, and when we add the sugar or honey as preservative, it will increase the shelf life, that is the consumable time period can be increased. So where and all the sugar or honey will be added? It will be added to products such as jams, jellies, squash, etc. So this hygroscopic nature of sugar. So hygroscopic nature means they have a tendency to absorb moisture. It helps in reducing the water content of the food and also minimizing the process of oxidation in fruits. The third natural preservative is addition of oil. So as I already told you, so in case of pickles, when they add oil, it will prevent the contact of air with the food. So you could see when you open the pickle bottle and all, you could see a layer of oil which is floating over the pickle. So this layer of oil will prevent the contact of air with the food, and thereby the microorganisms cannot grow and spoil the food. Now let's see about the synthetic preservatives. So the synthetic food preservatives, when you buy some products, when you buy the food items like jams, jellies, sauces, the readily eatable items and all, you could see there it contains some added preservatives, and they would have given some several names. So the synthetic food preservatives that are found in the substances like sodium benzoate, citric acid, so vinegar is also a synthetic preservative, sodium metabisulfate, potassium bisulfate are added to food products like sauce, jam, jelly, packed food and ready to eat food. And these preservative, what is its function? It will delay the microbial growth and it will prevent the contamination, and the food will be kept preserved or safe for a long duration. Do you know? Bananas are best stored at room temperature, and when it is kept in the refrigerator, the enzyme responsible for ripening becomes inactive. Okay, so it has to be stored. We will not store banana in a refrigerator, right? So we'll be storing banana only at the room temperature. In addition, the enzyme responsible for browning and cell damage becomes more active. So you could see when it is kept, when you can also try at home, keeping just one banana in the refrigerator, you could see it will be easily, the skin color of the banana will change from yellow to dark color. Okay, so two things will happen. The ripening. So when you keep the banana, the ripening will be becoming inactivated, the enzyme will be inactivated, and also the skin color of the banana will be made very dark when you store under refrigeration. And another more to know, October 16th is World Food Day. Okay, and it emphasizes on food safety and avoiding food wastage. So this day has a significance to denote on food safety and avoiding food wastage. So we have seen the first topic about the food spoilage, that is food hygiene, food preservation methods, okay, and the food preservatives, natural and synthetic preservatives. The next topic we are going to see is food adulteration. So what is meant by adulteration? So adulteration is nothing but addition or subtraction of any substance to the food or from the food so that the natural composition and the quality of the food substance is affected. So not only they are adding some unwanted substances, even removal of certain substances from the normal food is also a form of adulteration. So adulteration is any material which is used for the purpose, adulterant. Adulterant is any material which is used for the purpose of adulteration. Some of the commonly adulterated food, milk and milk products, cereals, pulses, coffee powder, tea powder, turmeric powder, saffron, confectionaries. Okay, confectionaries are nothing but chocolates and related products, non-alcoholic beverages, spices, edible oils, meat, poultry products, etc. The adulterants can be classified into three categories: the natural adulterant, incidental or unintentionally added adulterants, and intentionally added adulterant. The first category is natural adulterants. So the chemical substances that are naturally present in the food can cause adulteration and thereby causing the food spoilage, or it may cause any contamination or poisoning. Example, toxic substances found in certain poisonous mushroom. So the mushrooms, that is the not edible mushrooms, the poisonous mushrooms, they are themselves what? Poisonous, because due to the presence of certain toxic substances. And prussic acid in seeds of apples and cherries. So we should not eat the seeds of apples. So it is highly poisonous. And marine toxins, fish oil poisoning, the environmental contaminants. These are the naturally occurring adulterants. Incidental or unintentionally added adulterants. So unintentionally added means they are not doing it wantedly. So they are added unknowingly due to some ignorance or carelessness during handling and packaging. Example, pesticide residues. So the pesticide they are going to add to the crop to kill the pest, but unknowingly it may also contaminate the crop. So pesticide residues. Droppings of rodents, insects. So droppings means excreta, the waste, okay, from rodents like rat, the insects, rodent bites, larva. Some small larva means like the young stage of certain insects are referred to as larva. So these are all unintentionally added adulterants. And even microbial contamination due to the presence of certain pathogens. So they are all incidental or unintentionally added adulterants. The third is intentionally added adulterants. So they are adding wantedly, so for making profit. Okay, so they are called intentionally added adulterants. So additives and preservatives like vinegar, citric acid, sodium bicarbonate, hydrogen peroxide, modified food starch, food flavors, synthetic preservatives, and artificial sweeteners. So they are all intentionally added. And chemical substances such as calcium carbide. Okay, so for making the ripening process faster, they are adding this calcium carbide to banana, mango to make it ripe in an artificial manner. And non-certified food color. So they will be adding to attract, to look fresh. They will be adding some colors. Okay, to the green leafy vegetables, bitter gourd, green peas and all. So when you buy the green peas from the shop in a packeted manner, you could see when you put it in the water, you could see that green, the water will turn fully green. Okay, they are all water. They are adding some synthetic colors, okay, to give the food a fresh look. Next, and edible synthetic wax. So when you buy some fruits like apple and pear and all, for giving a shiny appearance, they are adding some wax layer. Okay, so to give a nice shining appearance. So these are all wantedly they are doing. Okay, so they are called as intentionally added adulterants. What will be the health effects of adulterated food? So when the food is adulterated, it may lead, when we consume that food, it may lead to various health issues like fever. It may lead to diarrhea, that is stomach upset, nausea, that is like vomiting sensation or vomiting, gastrointestinal disorders. Even it may lead to asthma, allergy, like cancers. Okay, so depending upon the effect of the adulterant. So do you know a slogan from farm to plate? Make food safe. Okay, so from farm to plate, make food safe was raised on World Health Day, 17th April 2015 to promote and improve food safety. The last topic we are going to see the food quality control. The government always ensures that pure and safe food is made available to the consumers. So with respect to that, various laws have been formulated. One such was in 1954, the Indian government enacted the Food Law, known as Preservation of Food Adulteration Act and the Prevention of Food Adulteration Rules in 1955 with the objective of ensuring pure and wholesome food. Okay, so the for providing the consumers the food should be very pure and to protect them from fraudulent trade practices. Minimum standard of quality for food and strict hygienic condition for its sale are clearly outlined in the Act. And for this, there are several agencies like ISI, AGMARK, FPO, FCI, and other health departments enforce minimum standards for the consumer products. So, FCI, Food Corporation of India, was set up in the year 1965. So, let's see what are the objectives of this FCI. The effective price support operation for safeguarding the interest of farmers. So, the distributing food grains throughout the countries and satisfactory levels of operational buffer stock of food grains to ensure national security and regulating the market price. So, that is the price should be very reasonable and it should be the reliable price and it should safeguard the interest of the farmers and the food grain should be distributed throughout the country. So, these are the various objectives of FCI, Food Corporation of India. Food control agencies, the standardized mark and role in food safety. First is ISI. Okay, so ISI, Indian Standard Institution, known as Bureau of Indian Standard. So, what is its role? It certifies the industrial products like electrical appliances like switches, wiring cable, water heater, electric motor and kitchen appliances will have this ISI. Okay, so when ISI is there, so it is a standardized product. It means the product is standardized. Next is AGMARK, Agricultural Marking. It certifies agricultural and livestock products. You could see in certain cereals, in honey and all, like there will be an AGMARK symbol, so that it is what? Certified product. Next is FPO, Fruit Process Order. So you could see this FPO symbol in juice, jam, sauce, canned fruits and vegetables, pickles and all. You could see FPO. Next is FSSAI, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. So it is responsible, this is the agency that is responsible for protecting and promoting the public health through the regulation and supervision of food safety. So they are looking after, they are supervising, okay, that is the everything, the food product and all, it is safe, like that is they are regulating and supervising. So in this class we have seen about the food spoilage, also about the food preservation, the methods of food preservation, food adulteration, the various adulterants, and also we have seen about the food control, quality control agencies. Thank you. Meet you in the next video.